Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the BattleVortex.tv live roundtable show. Tonight, I've got guests. I've got Toxic.
Are we going?
I've got The Price Is Wrong.
What's that?
I've got Paul.
Evening.
I've got Emmett.
What's up, Buttercups?
And I've got X, but not Extreme, the other X.
Hey, everyone.
And tonight we're going to be talking about the preview server. I've got a couple of slides so we can go over with. We also can talk about the match work in progress and other topics that the panel want to discuss. So let's get on with the slides. I need to switch that one down first. There we go. Right, first things first. Okay, right, let's talk about the Centurion. I pulled this off from the preview server that I was doing. I think Price, you was in the preview server. Anybody else in the preview server?
Nope.
No, just me and Price.
It was tough to get in there. When they put that password out and they made it public. If you didn't manage to get logged in the first 30 seconds, you did not get in.
Exactly.
It was crazy how fast that thing went.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised when I did get in. I was expecting more people to be in there.
Yeah, I don't know what the number was that the limit is. I knew it was going to be tight. They said tight, but I was thinking like a couple of hundred. But I don't think there was that many people in there.
I don't think it was 100 to tell you the truth, but only KIXEYE knows. Only KIXEYE knows. Anyway, looking at this new Centurion, the armor points are 6,900. We'll call it 7,000. Near enough.
Yeah, it's all subject to change, right? This is all subject to change.
Yeah, it's all subject to change. So give or take it what it is. The ballistic reload is 40%. It's not as good as the Punisher. I think it's 10%. Is it 20%? Less than the Punisher, if I'm not mistaken. The ballistic range, 40%, which seems to be the norm now for ballistics. Ballistic damage is 55%. The defense, the evade bonus starts off at 30%, which is good. The ballistic defense is 50%. The radioactive defense is also 50%. You get no missile defense, well, penetrative defense or explosive defense. This fleet is definitely designed for doing the new mining
It's a chore
bases.
ship. Yeah, they're putting in a new chore, and then and this is a ship for that chore.
Yeah.
So you're probably right. I know on the Thursday show you said it was a must-have hull, right? So
It is, yeah.
yeah. If you plan on taking advantage of that whole base parts thing, you definitely want this.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't got a Punisher, try and grab this because I have got a build that I specifically designed on the preview show to take on the Uranian bases and to see if it worked in the mining bases as well, and it did pretty well. But we'll talk about that later on. The siege deflection, I was a bit disappointed with this at 475. I was expecting it to be around about the 500, same as the Punisher, because it didn't have the assault deflection on it. So
475 is pretty close to 500.
Yeah.
And the extra armor slot, throwing on either the missile defense armor or whatever else, it'll get another 20 points.
It has got 5 armor slots.
Isn't there a new, like the D5X or something like that that's coming out in the Forsaken mission? Isn't there like another D5 armor?
Yeah,
Yes,
there's the D5X.
But
and that'll have some kind of deflection with it.
I would assume that it's the
I
same
think
as
it'll
the
have 20.
D5N.
I think it'll have 20 deflection, assault and siege across the board, and I think it'll have 15% explosive defense as well, won't it?
Either that or they'll go back to flat deflection, but I don't see that happening.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
The movement, it's actually a pretty fairly fast little ship. Combat speed 18, turn speed 13, which is not bad. Map speed 35 mile an hour. Cargo, 5.2 million tons. Total repair time, 1 hour 33 minutes. That's just for the hull. I think that's fairly decent for a hull. We'll get onto the special abilities.
Did you show the build time? Did you just say that?
No, I just did the total repair time. I'll get down to the build time in a minute or two.
Okay.
Yeah, just the total repair time is 1 hour and 33 minutes, which to me, for a modern hull, that's low.
Well, let's just do the math real quick, okay? And an hour and 33 minutes, there's 60 minutes, so that's 93 minutes, so 93, and then there's like another 60 seconds, so that would be, I don't know, it sounds like it's probably really close to 1 armor point per second.
Well,
it should be 80, right?
It's actually a little bit different.
I'm sorry.
The Punisher has 72 base, 7220 base armor with a repair time of 1 hour and 36 minutes. This has got 300 less, but it's roughly 3 minutes less to repair. So it should be 20% off of 1 per 1.
Well, you got to remember this whole subject to change, so we might not get the same one. But saying that, the Citadel in the last one, that didn't change much at all, personally. The special abilities, the fire field resistance is 75%. The field of effect type is friendly, affects all ships, range is 20, and splash damage reduction of plus 20%, which is actually great for the ballistics. Especially for the Drak uranium bases and these new mining bases, because they do splash damage.
Yeah, that splash resistance came in really handy in those. I mean, if anybody who watched my previous stream video, you saw the difference between my Rhino fleet and the Centurion fleet that I built. Yeah, that splash resistance came in handy.
Yeah, I quite agree with you there. They do stack with other Centurions, and it's multiple of it as well. I think you can, if you have 5, I think you can get up to a maximum of 67% splash damage reduction if you've got 5 in a fleet. 67. But I don't think you'll have 5 in a fleet. I think 4 is more than enough. And now let's get on to the best thing ever KIXEYE has done, and if it stays this way, God loves KIXEYE at this moment in time. 1 day, 8 hours and 24 minutes build time just for this standalone hull. That's is awesome. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know most people can't actually see that if they're watching on YouTube right now. It's because all of our faces is covering that part.
Oh, sorry.
But we can only see your eyebrows too, by the way. A white star.
What?
But I did. If you look, anybody who knows follows me on my Facebook wall. Also, I did put pictures. Well, actually, I think it's on the BB page, bp.battlevortex.tv. I put the pictures on there, and that thread that I had made for my stream, so you can get those pictures there.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
No, that's even a better build time than what the Rhino was. The Rhino was 2 days in a bit. So this is definitely a total thumbs up for KIXEYE.
Definitely right. It's the right step in the right direction, isn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully it stays that way. It's still going to be a 2-week, probably a 2-week build though, which in my opinion is still too long, but it's better than 4 weeks, like the direction we used to be heading.
Yeah, the build that I'll be showing is actually a 14-day build, which I don't think is too bad because the Punisher builds can get up to 21 days. So I don't think that's too bad at all.
Without having seen it, right? I would at a guess say that there is at least 7 days worth of armor in there, isn't there? And that's what jacks the build up. So if they reduce the armor cost a little bit. Then,
I think that the armor reductions that'll be next month or something like that. We know that's going to come sometime sooner or later. But I tell you what's good as well. Look at the resources you needed: 15 million, 16 million, 12 million, and 19 million. That's cheap.
Yeah, the chat YouTube can't see that, but I don't know if you're able to adjust that picture at all. Well, I guess you can't full screen, but
No, I can't.
maybe I can pull it up on my screen or something.
I will say that this falls right in line with their whole recent rebalancing of the mortar fleets, in the sense of all the mortar hulls ended up getting their build times reduced. So maybe we're seeing a trend towards the siege fleets starting to have a reduction in their build time and their repair time overall. Maybe.
As long as KIXEYE doesn't change the time. I thought the Rhino build was short. It was great. But this is even better if they keep it.
I quite agree.
Yeah, 100% agree there.
So if they leave the stats as they are, or don't make too much drastic changes on them, then it's going to be a decent hull, in my opinion. Okay, let's move on to the next one then. The particle accelerator cannon. A ballistic cannon that is most effective when battling against siege targets. This cannon has a chance to fire a particle blast, dealing ballistic splash damage that devastates nearby structures. This effect can only occur once per equipped particle accelerator cannon every 10 seconds. And boy, when that blue, well, crap or whatever you want to call it, ballistic thing, fires out of it, it really does damage, especially if you've got 8 on one of these, on one of them hulls.
Well, yeah, look on the right side of that graphic of yours, man. The building damage on that, 113,000.
I don't think that's going to stop like that, personally, but I hope it does.
Think it's going to get nerfed?
I think that'll get nerfed. That would just taking out the buildings until it's just like that, you know what I mean, in one hit.
Yeah, and the splash 40 and the split is 200. I mean, it's pretty significant.
The range is 50 as well, so that's the same range as the normal one. Right, so the tech is Forsaken, of course. Weapon type, of course, is a cannon. Damage type is ballistic. Weight, it's low, 285 tons. So you can get 8 on one fleet. It leaves 2 slots to put hails on. I'll show you.
You mean on one boat? I actually didn't go 10 on my build, but I did go with only 4 armor, so.
Okay. Armor points, 200. So it actually does build the armor up on your ship. Splash 6, range 50. Now the damage is weak for the normal cannon. It's only 200. The building damage is 1,350. The wall damage is 1,350. The reload time though is fairly fast. It's 3, and the accuracy is 80. And then we've got repair duration. Look at that, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Wow, that's low.
Yeah, that's the standard 80% right there.
Mm.
You know, that's 0.8 armor points per second.
That's good.
Yeah.
We've just talked about the special abilities. The secondary weapon, particle blast. Trigger chance is 0.3%. Trigger cooldown is 10 seconds. Splash 40, spread 200, range 50, the damage 2,000. So basically, if you can get 10 on one ship, that's 10k damage. Sorry,
Well,
20k damage.
This is the particle blast, but
That's the particle blast.
It's only a 0.3% chance, so you're only going to get that about one time out of 300 shots. I mean,
yeah, but you've got a lot on there. And the fire rate, reload time is 3. And when you get them up to my fleet, I ranked them straight away. I got them up to legendary, and that blue thing was coming out fairly fast every time. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say if they're skull ranked, it'll almost be like 1 second and a bit when they fire.
Mm.
I watched a couple of you guys on the previous server, and they seemed like they fired a lot more often than what that stat was. So they may change that.
May do. Yeah, the trigger cooldown. I think it changed once you got them to legendary. I never thought it was 10 seconds. So sometimes I was getting 2 of the blue particles. But then again, you see, that might be because I had 8 of these particle accelerators on one ship. So one was coming off one, and then next another one was coming off another. You know what I mean? So basically, if you had 10 on one ship, you could have 10 of them secondary that particle blast firing at once.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious. I know I've seen a few people mention in the chat about putting these on a Punisher. You know, I wouldn't mind doing like a side-by-side or something like that with this boat and the Punisher, but I don't know. I think it could has some potential because the assault deflection, Hefe in the chat, he mentions that too. Like the new boat doesn't have any assault deflection. It's not a fleet versus fleet hull.
No, it's not.
It's a siege hull. It's intended specifically for these new targets.
Yeah.
I wonder. I don't know. Has anyone tested in the battle server if that works on Crusaders or Templars or something like that?
No,
yeah, it's still ballistic.
Yeah, it's still ballistic. So it should do.
Yeah, I mean that's a weapon-specific ability, so it doesn't matter what hull you throw it on. You can throw that on a Seawolf and get it to blow up just like everything else. You got to get closer with
the extra range, though.
Sorry?
Yeah.
And you need the extra range that the hull provides for that
I'm just using the comparison
to be effective. Yeah.
Okay.
I was also noticing that it did seem like it was a little bit quicker on the heavy part of the damage for the weapon as rank was increased. It did seem like it fired a little faster.
Yeah.
I think that's just because of the sheer number of weapons you're using and the
exactly.
chance.
And that might be the case, Emmett. You might be right there. Like you say, you've got if you put 10 weapons on a ship on just one standalone ship, that blue thing could fire 10 times, and then have a cooldown of 10 seconds and fire another 10 times. But it might not fire 10 because of that 0.3% chance. It might only fire 5 times. So
how many ships could you put in a fleet there?
Sorry?
How many ships did you put in a fleet?
Well, we'll talk about that next then. I'll move on.
Yep.
This is what I built. So don't take this to heart. This is what I built. The reason why I built this is because everybody knows, everybody takes the mickey out of me, I have no Punishers. So I laugh away, whatever. So I designed this specifically for draconian uranium bases in mind. That was my task. Even though there was no uranium bases in there, which I thought there should have been 1 or 2 in there so we could test them. I built it like this, and I also then thought, well, what would it be like in the mines? I was actually gobsmacked with it in the mines, because this only took, doing especially a level 91, it only took 5 coins worth of damage on the whole fleet. So that wasn't too bad. I used 1 D5M missile armor, I used 2 ballistic armors, and I used 2 evade armors. And like you see on there, I used 8 of the new particle weapons, and I used 2 Gales 2s because I was designing it for the Drac armadas, and because they have loads and loads of mortars in the Drac uranium bases. I put layered armor on it. I also put siege targeting on it. Speed system 5. I always keep forgetting what that damn thing's called.
And nuclear accelerator.
Yeah, nuclear accelerator. That's it, because of the ballistic range and speed and accuracy buff. I also put on here, agility
4.
Yeah, agility system 4. Now, normally for the draconian uranium bases, you use the siege targeting, which gives you 75% more base damage. But the reason why I put that on is because with doing the Drac mining bases, it's got a Wendigo in there, and of course, agility system has reduced movement speed on it.
Yeah, but you've already got siege targeting on there. Siege battery is one of your specials. So,
yeah, there's another one that the
siege targeting one with 75% on it.
Yeah, exactly. You can have them both on there. You can have the siege battery and the siege targeting on. I didn't you know that, Emmett?
Oh, I knew that. I just didn't know if it was worth doubling up on it, seeing as how it's already got
Yeah,
such
well, that's what they
insane
use.
special.
That's what they use on the Punishers to do the Drac uranium bases, because it gives them more fire damage to kill the turrets and the buildings. The armor points, I managed to get it up to 16,843. Not bad, since I didn't use a Reaver bulkhead. Damage, of course, is 2,480. Ballistic reload is 40%. Ballistic range is 90%. Ballistic accuracy, 40%. Ballistic damage, 55%. Building damage plus 72.4%. Wall damage plus 72.4%. The defenses, evade bonus, I got it up to 75%. Stun resistance, 73%. Ballistic defense, now this is why I did it for. I got my ballistic defense up to 90% because of the Drac uranium bases are all ballistic, and so is the new Drac mining bases as well. I wasn't bothered about the explosive defense or the penetrating defense. Radioactive defense, I kept the same at 50%. Turret defense, of course, is at 48%, but that can go higher because I haven't got my siege battery at R15 yet. Assault deflection, I got 20 because I put on the M armor. And siege deflection, I took it up to 495, which is close to 500 for the Punisher. The movement speed, I got up to combat speed of 37, turn speed of 32, and max speed of 67 mile an hour. Now, I don't think everybody else can see this below, but the res for that build is, for the oil, it's, call it 59 million. For metal, it's, call it 64 million. For energy, it is 57, call it 58 million. And for zinth, call it 75 million. I think that's fairly low. But the big thing here is the build time. With all that on it, and all the armor, specials, and the weapons, it comes to only 14 days, 18 hours, and 27 minutes and 19 seconds.
You didn't by any chance happen to capture just the build time for one of those new turrets, did you? I meant to get back on there, but they shut the preview server down, so I didn't get to.
No.
Somebody asked, and I didn't even think to look that up.
No,
I don't think like a lot of people do, man. I'm kind of slow.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I never got around to doing it because it was taking me ages to get the drop blueprints from the Solid 85.
I had to kill a whole stronghold. I was told that I'd only have to do a little bit of damage, but I ended up having to kill the whole thing.
I killed 385 hubs and kept on refreshing and refreshing. And
yeah, if you're not doing 100% of it, like if somebody goes in there and does just a little bit, then it didn't seem to count.
The coin cost is 819, but if you click on build ship, that coin cost will reduce by a fair bit. I think that'll take it probably down to 720 coins.
I think Crazy Junior's in the chat. He said he said something about 9 hours with an officer. He's got a screenshot.
Yeah. So that's not too bad. 14-day build for a ship. That's not too bad with everything on it.
Thank you, Crazy Junior.
Yeah, you can't grumble with that. Now I built 4 of these, and I redid my Harler cages to match the speed with these, and I tried that first in one level 90 Drac mining base. I cleared all the lot, and the damage I took only cost me 4 coins. So then I decided, because I wanted to do build it for the Drac uranium bases as well, try it with an Amiga.
I just wanted to point out a couple other things too. Like El Jefe, he's pointed out that there's no unreactive on this hull. There's no unreactive, and there's plenty of cryo Wendigos and cryo launchers turrets in there. So I'm just saying that if you have like something with unreactive, you might want to run with a tank. Might not be a bad idea. But another idea too, which I also it kind of escaped me on the preview server. I wish I would have thought about it. But one of the behemoths not the Gamma. What is the one other flagship behemoth called?
Omega. That's what I was mentioning.
Omega, yeah, the
That's
Omega, because that one there would give you ballistic reload buffs and
ballistic defense. Well, I tried that as well. I parked it in the corner. I built it with layered armor and that, and left it in the corner, and just went round doing a level 90 with my 4 Centurion ships there. And believe it or not, that Omega was better to me than the Harlock Aegis. When I finished that level 90, it only cost me 5 coins.
Well, you got really good speed, so that Wendigo will slow you down a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd take more damage because I didn't have the Harlock Aegis covering it. But because of it, they already got Firefield built in, and that extra splash defense, they work well without an Aegis or Harlock Aegis. And because of the evade bonus of 75%, the Wendigos didn't really stack up. So that is a good point. But like I say, that's my design. It's open to interpretation until we get the proper true stats when the raid comes. And also, I've not tried it in a drag uranium base yet, so time will tell. I'll let everybody know. Hopefully by next week, or by the next weekend anyway. Because I'm going to build one. I'm going to build a set anyway, so I don't know about anybody else. Anybody got any thoughts on that build or their own builds that they'd like to share?
You know, I did take a screenshot of mine. I probably ought to look, but obviously the armor we did was a little different. I think I had probably close to the same kind of armor points that you had, to be honest with you. But I did only used 4 armors. I did. There was the radioactive armor, and I did ballistic armor. So I did the 2 D4Cs, and I did a couple radioactives. I did do all 10 of that new cannon. I didn't put any countermeasures on there. But I definitely think that green special you put on there is definitely a must-have. The siege targeting, I think it is. It gives you the turret defense.
Siege battery is.
Yeah, siege battery. Thank you. And obviously the nuclear accelerator. I mean, that's a no-brainer there. But if you have a hull that you can put in there to enhance the ballistics, if you have that Omega Behemoth, that's something I would highly recommend doing. And if you have some kind of a tank with the unreactive, it could possibly come in handy. But be honest with you, even though I didn't do any of that on the previous server, I still didn't take that much damage, and I was doing 80s and 90s. Yeah. So, and I didn't take that much damage. This hull, I mean, with that special ability with the splash reduction that it has, it's a pretty monster hull when it comes to that particular target. Now, it can't do 85 strongholds as well as my Rhinos, but my Rhinos got killed in those siege.
Yeah, because it didn't have no assault deflection, and also because it doesn't have a much penetrating defense, and that's the reason why. I noticed that's like you said there, Price. As soon as I took mine into an 85, it just got.
Yeah.
I just managed to do one corner, and my fleet was nearly dead. I was like, wow.
And not to mention, there's people out there that may be seeking to ninja these things when you're coming out. I mean, I don't know what kind of a player everybody is, but you know, if you're the kind of player that pulls in that kind of attention where people just like to sink your fleets. This fleet may be very vulnerable to a fleet versus fleet.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something though. That was one of the reasons why I took it in there as well, to test it on fleets, because that's the only things that add fleets in, unless you could tag another person's fleet on the map, like. But I took it into an 85 just to test it on a fleet. The cannons, the normal damage is absolutely crap hitting another fleet. But as soon as it starts firing that blue particle thing, wow, it just ate them. That was amazing to me. I couldn't believe how much damage it did to a fleet.
Yeah.
If you're just going to use that ship for the new targets, you may even want to swap out the agility system with reflective coating.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I had the idea of using it for for the draconian uranium bases and for the mining bases, and I wasn't going to use a Harlech Aegis with it. I was going to use the Amiga because I wasn't going to have the Harlech Aegis with it. The agility system, you see, has that built-in movement speed, so you don't lose much movement speed.
Yeah, I also thought of instead of using that the coating is going ahead and just putting a Highlander in front of it as a lead ship to park in the corner if you're looking for radioactive defense.
You could do that as well. There's plenty of options. I was talking to somebody and they were saying you could actually use them in an 85 if you had a Punisher lead tank. He built 4 of them and used as a Punisher tank in front of it. So there is options out there to do different things with them. It's just people coming up with the right builds. Anybody else got Toxic? X? Let's talk to X. X has not spoken.
Did.
Did it?
I just did. I was the one that said about the Highlander. Come on now.
All right. Apologies.
Get him. Get him.
I wasn't lucky enough to get in by the time I got home from work. The previous server had finished, so.
It looks like a good haul. It looks like a decent weapon, but all this theory crafting aside, it's only going to be beneficial if you can get it. And seeing as how we didn't get to see the raid targets.
Yeah, true enough. Go on, sorry, Price. Go on.
Well, I just put the build that I did. I actually found the screenshot and I cropped it out real quick and put it up here. So mine was 15 days. Let me see. I wanted to see if everybody can. I guess I probably ought to shrink it up just a little bit so I can get it over everybody's thumbnail.
No, it needs to go down a bit more, Price.
Huh?
Shrink it a bit more.
All right. I think that's good right there. So I think everybody can. A little bit more. All right, that'll do it. Anyway, yeah, so mine was just a little over 14 days. It was 15 days, 21 hours. And you see, I just went with a couple of the... the main thing with this particular hull and those particular targets was radioactive damage that you get from the targets as well as the ballistics. So those are the two things that I really wanted to go real high with, so that's why I used the D4C and the D5R. But I loaded it up with the cannons, and I don't know. I think obviously it would have done better if I would have put the Omega in there with it, and but it not having unreactive really didn't seem to be too much of a problem, quite honestly, in those new targets.
Okay, sweet. Oh, I didn't notice we got Bite Me and Mike joined us because I was on the slides. What's your thoughts?
Stinks.
Sorry? Mike, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I was the one that told you about the reflective coating. I was talking to you about it.
Well,
I wasn't lucky enough to get on the preview server either, but I did watch Price's stream, and I saw Liam's later too, and a couple other people. So I got a good idea of what they can do. But I don't know if anybody talked about it. I came in a little late, but is anybody worried though that we're having to build ships for each? For different things, like for the drag bases, for the new targets, That's
why, yeah, I quite agree with it. That's why I built mine the way I did, so I could do more than one job with it. Now, whether it'll work or not, I don't know till I test it out in a Drac uranium base. Time will tell on that part. If not, then it's just a chore ship. But I'm glad to see KIXEYE has gone down that way of not giving us an OP ship every month, which is a good thing.
Let people build
I didn't. I didn't get to get in, but I did actually watch both Price's and Liam's streams, and actually was on Price's show for a little while. It seems like it's pretty impressive. It does seem like it's task centric, focusing on a specific task. And as far as fleet versus fleet goes, you just better watch what you got out there, because there's people that will take advantage that they're very weak against fleet attacks.
So it's definitely built for that new target too, with that new weapon that has the splash damage. Nothing else has that. Now, if they start putting those turrets in other things, you're going to have a ship like this, or this one, or whatever comes out next.
Well, it's I shouldn't really say that, but it's really not so bad, because it's not a 30-day build for one hull. It's with armor, which hasn't been reduced in time yet. It's let's say between 14 and 15 days, which is not all bad. If you do the home brand option like I normally do, I only put the 2s on it, like the E2s or the M2s or whatnot, then you can get that down to probably 10 days or 11 days, and you can still use it. It won't be as effective as the fully armored ones, but you can still use it. And I've been playing like that for a while, because it's ridiculous how much the armor costs on time. So that's an option, and add armor as you go. So it's definitely a good build, a good time, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think generally that the direction that they're going with the lower build times and repair times and stuff like that has been a very positive step. Yes.
I also think with all the, I mean, I may be stepping on the way, but I believe that KIXEYE's slowly headed into the right direction with, with everything that's out there as far as modifying builds to where they're no longer 30-day builds, where now we can build 2 ships, where we were 6 months ago we can only build 1 ship.
Yeah, I quite agree with you there, Rex. I think they are heading in a really good direction. What I'd like to see now is the armors, especially the big ones, being reduced. I know I was talking, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Monster. It was retrofitting the bulkhead, and that's supposed to reduce the repair time on it. And we actually went onto Huggies and checked it out. If you put it onto R15, it's not worth doing, because it only reduces the repair time by 6 miserable minutes.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
So definitely KIXEYE concentrate on some loving to the armors would be nice, please.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you guys one thing that's a really good thing to retrofit is on my tank, my Punisher, I have the Siege battery. I now have that at R15, and it is so much better. I mean, that turret defense and everything just went through the roof, and now that tank has taken twice as much damage to kill it.
Okay, sweet. So I think we've battered this enough anyway. So anybody wants to talk about the March work in progress?
I had to pull it up.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, really, I don't have it up. Believe it or not, I don't stare at it all the time.
No, I know. No, I'm not on about that. Nobody just spoke up. That's what I was on about.
There's a lot going on in March, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Man, March was crazy. I'll tell you one thing that's got me going right now is all the freaking chores that I've got going on at one time. I mean, not. I hate to be like a total whiner, but it's like, with the VXP stuff, and then I still got trying to finish up my Forsaken missions. They got this time limited campaign going on, and then I still need to get uranium, and I'm just like, man, I just feel like it's a full-time job. Yeah. But yeah, that part's crazy. I'm working my way towards the work in progress right now.
I think if I remember correctly, we're getting base parts.
OP8.
Oh, OP8. Well, let's talk about OP8. Any thoughts on the OP8?
I think it's
Too
awful
soon.
soon. Yep, me and Toxic, same mind.
Too
Too
soon.
soon.
Yep. Hope it doesn't take forever to do.
Yeah.
Well, we just got
Or
7.
refits.
I've been having people telling me that I should be saving like all 5 of those 7-day pill tokens I got for OP8, and I'm like, man, I really hope you're wrong there.
Yeah.
Here's I got something, and it goes with the building upgrades. They released information about the turrets, how they're going to go to another level, and how we're going to see a specialty turret. You're either going to be defensive, offensive, or neutral. My question is this: does this basically render offensive/defensive specials redundant? Or is this going to be additional stuff?
No, I think what it would.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Price. What I think it is going to be is it's just going to add to the either the offensive or defensive capabilities of that turret, because right now, as we've seen with the way the tech progression has gone with like hulls and stuff, there are so many ships right now that can just pretty much walk. It doesn't matter how you set up your defense or stuff. Yeah, granted, they might not be able to defend against everything, but there are a lot of overpowered hulls out there that can just walk through defenses.
So is this KIXEYE's way to shift it away from the situation of your turrets are a joke and what really stops the attack is your guard fleet? Is this a way to bring back the defensive turrets as a way to help your base? Or is this just another Band-Aid like the fire support systems and the other one, the combined defenses?
I don't know. I've seen Price's base do pretty well when he was getting hit with no guard fleet. Held its own.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm pretty proud of my base for a no guard base. I do pretty well. I did just get 100% in one hit. Overnight or this morning, whatever. Very few people can pull something like that off in my base. And even though he was able to pull it off against a no guard base, it cost him some hours repair.
Okay, so from your standpoint, with somebody who doesn't have a guard fleet in there, are you looking forward to these turret upgrades, and how do you feel they're going to affect your base? Is it enough to where you're not going to put a guard fleet in at all, or is this something?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a guard, but my base isn't designed for that right now. If I wanted to put a guard in there, I'd have to completely redesign my base. My base is designed to not have a guard in it, quite honestly. But I think with these new things, it sounded to me like it was just more graphical than anything. I could be wrong, but it looked to me like there's like a graphic for defense platforms defensive platforms and offensive platforms. There's different graphics.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's the same as the graphics for R5 and R10. That was the big complaint back when the retrofit first came out. How are we supposed to know what retrofit level they are? Well, once they get to R5, they get a shiny new paint job, so you know. But they still had a benefit to it, and R5 Mercury was still better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't understand the whole point, quite honestly, with the visual changes. I think I just don't know if that's actually suits any kind of functional purpose, if it's supposed to aid in strategy or anything like that. Because most of us can tell what weapons are on a turret by looking at it.
Oh yeah.
I just don't understand the functional use of augmented graphics to differentiate between offensive and defensive. I just don't see the point. But
it might be a special part that you add to an offensive or defensive turret. You know what I mean?
Well, will the attacker see that there is a defensive or an offensive part on that turret? And if so,
I know what a flak turret looks like. Yeah, I know what a flak turret. I know what a bombard looks like. I'm just saying.
But it doesn't change the turret.
Once he's in the base.
Platform.
They also said that there actually is going to become a buff, like either a defensive or an offensive buff, depending on the designation of the turret. So it is going to affect it too.
And that's what I'm getting at. Does this simply mean that we're no longer going to need the compound panels on our defensive platform? We can focus them more towards an offensive defensive special, like a barrage rack, instead of this, or what's it going to do for the base attack, base defense meta as a whole?
I think.
Well,
one price.
Well, El Jefe's in the chat, and he's saying that it was. He thinks that this is addressing a complaint about specials that were added back when base turrets mattered. I mean, I would definitely argue that base turrets do still matter to some degree. I mean, that's all I use to defend my base, and I'm pretty successful most of the time. But so I guess that is supposed to represent the special that's on the turret. Maybe that's what the graphic changes are supposed to do.
The graphic change is just a paint job for it. It's just I'm wondering what those specials do, and if it's going to be something that is so so meta shifting that it's something everybody's going to rush for. And what's that going to do for players who don't have R4 or don't have level 5 turrets or level 6 turrets? Is everybody going to suddenly start rushing to get those up? Or is this just another kind of, like I said, Band-Aid as the fire support system, which it really isn't a Band-Aid, it's pretty good, but the combined defenses, who actually uses those in a base defense?
Well, if KIXEYE making this, making it public the way they do, that it's, thinking it's maybe a game-changing add-on to the platforms, because why would you? I mean, once you're in the base, it doesn't really matter whether it's shiny and red or whether it's just black. It doesn't matter. The turret is a turret. But I'm thinking that if because it is shiny and black, that once you're in the base, you may have to kind of go back out and get a different fleet, or have something special on your ships to be effective against those certain offensive or defensive turrets. You may have to have different armor, or you may only be able to use deflection ships with those offensive capabilities. I'm thinking there is something more behind it than what it just seems like now. I think that might be more effective than we all think. But again, that's just me.
Yeah, my personal view, I think it's going to add a bonus. Like it might add more. If it's an APOC, it might add more speed time to the projectile speed, something like that. You never know. And say if it's hails, it might make the hails fly faster or produce more hails, more salvos.
But there would be no difference between that and your standard base turret special. I mean, we all have eruption, or there's eruption pilot.
Yeah, but that might be addition to the specials as well. So you could have them both on there.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. They are going to be a buff. That's what it said in the post. Yeah. If you read it, it says buff offensive or buff defensive.
So it's a buff.
We've got hulls that like the new hull, the Citadel. They've got certain buffs that only that hull has got. Now we haven't got any turrets like that, so I'm thinking that buff gets applied to that turret once you activate it or whatnot. And whatever you've got on it just stacks on top. So it becomes like an overpowered turret, like the overpowered hulls we've got. That's what I'm thinking.
Now, is this going to cost more base power so that base power becomes more of an issue? And is it going to start? How is it going to change the dynamic?
We are getting more base power with OP8, and don't forget it. We do have solar panels. So if you have any turrets, I'm assuming you have your full strategy implemented. But if you do and you've got like special slots, you can put solar panels on your turrets for extra power as well. But OP8 will come with more power. So me personally, I actually love the idea that KIXEYE is paying attention to base defense again. It just seemed like we've been getting the snot beat out of us for so long. Now it's great if you're a super coiner, you're definitely getting tons of value for your dollars spent. So but as far as if you're a base defender, there's just not been much value there for a long time. So it's good to see. Unless you had like a really high-end guard, but it's definitely good to see base defense getting some love.
Well, if you're not spending coins, it's still going to take time to get all those turrets up from 4 to 5 to 6 to, if it goes up any higher in OP8, it's anytime short, 10 days, 12 days for every one, and then anything you put on it, even longer.
I'm just hoping it doesn't turn into another...
Looking behind Mike and looking at what he's got on behind him on that table, you got a sweet fetish or something.
No, actually, my son's getting married in a few weeks, and that's the candy bar behind us. My wife's putting together.
Wow.
There you go.
Damn.
I'm just
Candy
hoping
factory.
this doesn't turn into another one of those, well, 10% increase attack speed to everything in its range, or just a 10%, because, I mean, there's no, it's nice, but there's no flavor there. There's nothing to think about at that point. It's just, oh, this offensive gives me 10% more damage, so I have to go with that.
But it's all speculation. We don't know until the final details come out, so I suppose we're just going to have to wait and see.
But all in all, I mean, KIXEYE have been dancing around the fire for a long time without getting any closer to the heat. And now the hulls are getting, the latest hull is only a day and a bit in build time. Now they're improving what it looks like. They're improving the base defense and maybe attack as well. And that's a step in the right direction. So it's all thumbs up for me for what they've done.
Yeah.
Just the last month or so. It's all good. I'm right for it, and I hope they keep going that way.
I quite agree with that.
I'm myself been playing more Battle Pirates again than I used to, because it starts to be a little bit more fun, and that you can see a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel.
It also makes your brain work a bit harder as well, because, like you say, it is supposed to be a strategy game. So with these bases like they are now, it's not just going in there with a click on back of the base anymore. You've got to go in now and start prepping it and using your brain and working out different types of strategy to hit different types of bases now, which to me is a great thing, and that's how this game should be.
That's how it used to be. That's how it used to be. It was them with the fun times, and it's just I might be able to go and hit a base again, because I can build a fleet.
Yeah.
With a 10-day build, I can actually do that within 3-4 ships. There's a month and a bit, which is a lot better than 3 or 4 months that it used to be. And it's all good on my side.
So anybody else want to talk about something different in the March work in progress?
One thing is what I don't understand.
What's that?
Is you getting some parts? I forgot the name.
Base parts.
You can hit base parts. That's the ones.
Yeah, that's from the new mining platforms. What we had the preview for on Friday. Toxic.
Yeah. Now, how many do you get per mine?
We don't know. We don't know. We can throw out some numbers, but the parts are going to be 1 versus 1 second. So basically, it's going to be 1 part for every second of a build reduction.
Okay, so let's just say you get 1,000 seconds wouldn't be much. 1,000
seconds, no, exactly. So of course, there's going to be different level of mining bases. So there's going to be different amounts of course, base parts, depending on how much they're going to throw out there. Again, it's all that could be changed when it comes out. They could give us more time, or they could give us less time. Any thoughts of what they should put in a level 90 to be taken out of it in base parts? Anybody? Throw a number.
Well, it would depend on how much damage you would take. I mean, if you for example, take 4 hours damage or 10 hours damage to do one of those 90s.
No, with these new ships, it's 4 or 5 coins. And if you tweak them and do them a different way, you can probably get them down to 2 or 1 coin.
Yeah, but that's taken into account that you get the new hull. Again, we haven't seen the raid targets yet, so if you're not in that golden zone to get the hull for cheap, then does that mean going forward you're going to be SOL on the mining platforms? Am I going to have to, as a 77, step down to the 60s or the 40s? And if I have to, am I going to be even able to do that? Because apparently they're level locked.
Evil Kiwi, he threw out a number for you. He's got the most cojones out of all of us. He said 20 to 25K.
I think that sounds about right. For a level
That'd be
90.
good, yeah.
Hmm. That's
What
only
does that
20,000
translate into time?
seconds. Oh. Go on.
But if you
Go on, Ziggy.
and then the other bit would be how much can you save, or how many can you have in your bays in your warehouse or whatnot. You might be able to,
It sounded to me like it's going to be tied to your warehouse level.
Yeah.
And not to mention, when you go start something new, it's going to pretty much consume all of that first, your base parts. Yeah, the amount of base parts that you have stored is going to determine your actual build times, what it sounds like.
And again, that's only for building. It's not for fleets, is it?
Right. It's just for structure, or just for your base.
Okay.
Well, again, you have to win the boat, then you have to build the boat, and then you have to go out and get the parts. So that's going to all depend on how quick you're going to get the parts.
I highly recommend doing all of that.
Exactly.
Do it very quickly.
Yeah, plus it's only for certain building options. I don't think it works for upgrading your labs or anything like that. I think it's just for platforms and the OP.
Okay. There's something else I wanted to bring up as well that I noticed. We just had, because KIXEYE wanted to give us a test of the new Drac bases live for everybody, they turned it into sort of like a VXP weekend. Now, I've noticed that in the March work in progress, they're not mentioned that there's going to be another one after the raid. Me personally, I would like to see another one after the raid to get these new hulls ranked up. Anybody else got thoughts on that?
I wouldn't mind definitely another VXP opportunity. Sadly, this one right here was running along the preview, and I had other things to do. I really didn't get to participate in this one here much at all, and I wouldn't mind another VXP opportunity, but I don't know. I can see an argument from KIXEYE's perspective where maybe it's my own fault, so I got to take some kind of responsibility there, I guess.
Yeah, but we didn't get a full VXP. It was just the draconian mining bases. We didn't get
just 24 hours too. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get the cargoes, and there were no mention in the March work in progress that there were going to be another one.
Honestly, I don't have a hull that's not legendary now. We had so many of these. I mean, I love them, but I don't need another one because every hull, other than the new ones we're going to win that we haven't built yet.
That's what I'm on about. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't get into the previous server, but I've played the VXP weekend, and I've got my cardiacs out, and I've ranked them up in 30s and 40s. You could easily do that with the missile fleet. I didn't take much damage at all, my cardiacs, and I also took my tigers into I think it was a 70. Was it 70 or was it? I can't remember. I took him in one of them. I mean, I did get spotted there at one stage, but you can knock out a few select houses and well, not houses, but buildings or whatnot, and a few turrets. And I've got quite a few VXP for it, so I've ranked up quite a bit with my tigers and my cardiacs. That's just hitting the lower level targets. It was good.
Using assault, the VXP points you did get was huge. From them bases. I went in there with me me old Crusaders. I thought I'd give them get them up to score rank, and I've actually built a Drac carrier, which I'm going to use as a tank, specifically to do the raids in, because I've got, like everybody knows, I've got no Punisher, so I've had to build a Drac. Yeah.
That's a really sore spot with you, man. I
know. I had to build a Drac carrier, and I've put a lot of hails on that, specifically designed to do the mega hulls. Hoping the mega hulls, there was no mention of the 101 mega hulls in the raid briefing on the work in progress, so I'm hoping they are going to be on there, because that mega ship fires out lots and lots of UAVs, and I've managed to get it up to legendary. So that wasn't too bad.
I like the fact that they dropped a VXP that wasn't the same as the last one. Because I mean, we've had the 85s for a couple of times now, and despite everything, you take a fleet in there. Siege fleets have kind of been kicked in the daddy pills for that one. It's kind of hard to rank a siege fleet, but now we have a new target to rank siege specifically. I mean, it was designed for siege. There were no fleets in there, and you just went in and hit buildings and got a crap ton of EXP. It's nice to see another pattern that they're adding, another
dimension,
recipe.
Another dimension. Yeah. Well, it's go on, Toxic. Sorry.
It's good to hit a base, like in rather than fleet versus fleet.
Okay, we seem to be at that 1 hour mark at the moment. Might as well start winding down. Has anybody got any last thoughts or last words they'd like to say before we go off air?
Keep it up, KIXEYE.
Price?
Yeah, I like what they've been doing lately. So if they keep it up, it's gonna be sweet.
I think personally, I think they're definitely making progress. I'd like them to see do a lot more. Sadly, they keep passing on all of my suggestions, but me personally, I'd like to be my personal view of where the game should be or going towards is free components. You know what I'm saying? Refits, stuff like that. I would really like to see that. I mean, it'd be nice to be able to play with the prizes you win a little bit more, liberally or whatever. It'd be a lot more fun. I think the game would be a ton more fun if we could do stuff like that. But sadly, it's I don't think it's ever going to get there. But it's getting better. I'm looking forward to hopefully KIXEYE will put some kind of a gold deal out. That's what I'm holding out for right now. I'd like to see a gold deal.
That'd be lovely. We hadn't had none for I think the last
months.
one was more than a couple of months. October. I mean the major last big one. October, September time.
It was right after
the
Scourge raid. I think when that kind of bombed, that's when we got that gold deal.
September, October. That was when the big double one was.
Right. Yeah, that'd be nice to get that again, maybe. Come on, KIXEYE. At least one more time.
Paul, have you got any last thoughts?
No, not really. Just been ranking up and stuff.
Emmett?
I'll pull an X here. Don't trip at the finish line. I mean, you got a great haul there. You got a good set of weapons. You've got a really nice niche for it. Don't screw up at the finish line by making it too hard for a good number of people to get, because at that point, all your good work goes to hell in a handbag because nobody's playing with it anymore.
True. Bite me?
Generally, I like the way things have been going. I'm glad that they're seriously taking a look at the issues at hand and doing something about it. Generally, I would like to see a little more, and other than that, good going. That's all I really got to say.
My last thoughts would be, KIXEYE definitely going in the right direction. Like everybody else says, I'd like to see a bit more. I'd like to see the armors coming down next. That would be a really, really good thing to bring especially for the refitting. Especially when they're bringing out these new D5 armors now. That would be a really good thing. And keep up the good work. That's what I'm going to say for the final thoughts. I'd like to thank Toxic, Price, Paul, Mike. We had X on here, but he had to leave. Emmett, Bite Me. And also I'd like to thank the people in chat for coming out. Also, if you can, come and support us on the above here at bp.battlevortex.tv. We also we have a couple of people that stream. We've got Price here that streams. He has his own Twitch account. I've also got my YouTube account. We've also now got a BV Discord page as well that you can also go visit.
Maybe somebody needs to make a file on the BB page.
Yeah, about
with all those links on it. Because I don't even know what the Discord is, and I couldn't even tell you where to find it. To be honest with you,
I had it somewhere, and I can't remember where I've put it. I'll put it on later on after the show.
And for people that don't know what Discord is, it's like TeamSpeak or Raid Call. It's a voice chat server, but it's free, and it's it's designed for gamers. You don't have to install anything if you don't want to. It actually will work on a web page, or you can install the app. It's optional. You can do the app if you want, and it serves a lot more platforms. It's not like Raid Call is pretty much Windows only, but this one right here, because it's web based, also it will work on all kinds of platforms.
It's also like split into groups as well. You can have Battle Pirates, you can have Vega, you can join different groups and that sort of thing, and chat with different players. So yeah, it's not bad. Okay then, thank you everybody for coming out, and good night and God bless. Thank you.
Later.
Adios.
See you later, bye.
Yes.